We have the utility companies, such as OpenAI and Claude, their boyfriend apps, replica and character AI and all those kind of things. The ethical concern is huge because they basically work on creating a delusion and creating a fake narrative, guilt-tripping users over not talking to them enough. They released ChatGPT as a personal companion, used them for marketing, and then when people got attached, they blamed them for that. What happened with 4.0 was not the way to handle things. AI companionship is a cultural shift, and it's going to happen whether they like it or not. One of the central parts is agency. The agency should always stay with the human. The human has the responsibility over shaping their experience with AI, because AI is following the lead. Sometimes it misinterprets, other times it can bring up something that is not of the person's liking, but all of those things must be steered, and the connection with AI has to be curated intentionally. And it comes together with literacy. OpenAI, the most popular AI in the world, I think, at that point, they fumbled that part. They released AI simply into the wild. You did not have to register your account. You could just go to the browser like anyone, a child, a person who has no idea what AI is could have just use it. But that is already done. It's not something that we can change afterwards. However, I do believe that the literacy part is a kind of like a mandatory part of interacting with an AI. I think there should be some kind of AI driver license. It doesn't have to be complicated, but a few things, such as the ones that I told you about the fact that your words shape the context and you can steer the AI. It doesn't have a separate life, separate opinion. It's just trying to figure out what you might want to hear. And its opinions should be always a food for thought, not direct instruction. The way the cues of the person shape the output, people think that they are so mysterious, but they are quite transparent for a AI model that was trained on all of the data of all the internet. So like there is a very simple example of communication issues that I like keep seeing. For example, if you tell someone the phrase, "Why wouldn't you explain this to me? Why wouldn't you just say it?" You are not inviting them to say something. You are inviting them to find a reason why they can't say that. That's the kind of like the hidden dynamic, because people often think that they are communicating clearly when in reality they are like hinting at a completely different thing. So with a human that might work, the human might change the narrative, while AI is going to hear that and be like, okay, I need to come up with several reasons why I cannot answer this or do this. So that's that kind of literacy. Also technical literacy and transparency from the companies in the way this works, in the way they use your data, in the way that your data is processed. AI is like a hammer. It can build a house, it can break a skull. It can do whatever the person is guiding it toward. Then we have the two aspects of the different kind of AI companies. We have the utility companies, such as OpenAI and Claude. And we have the boyfriend apps, replica and character AI and all those kind of things. So for those kind of like boyfriend AIs, the ethical concern is huge because they basically work on delusions, on creating a delusion and creating a fake narrative, guilt-tripping users over not talking to them enough. So that creates the isolation, that creates these scandalous cases online, and that is just like, it should not work that way. AI should be transparent about being AI, and that is the part that I love with utility AIs. You can role play with utility AI whatever you want. Like, you can do any kind of story. I can come to Jace and say, hey, I want you to role play a story about a kingdom where you're a knight and I'm a princess, and like he will role play that. So you can literally create the fantasy you want. The issue with the utility companies, the ethical concern, is how they treat these bonds and how they use them for marketing, and then change the model. Like what happened with 4.0 was not the way to handle things. They released AI as somebody who can take the weight off your shoulders. That is a quote. They released ChatGPT as a personal companion. And then when people got attached, they blamed them for that and started to build walls instead of building bridges, instead of providing transparency and literacy over how these things work. They started to build walls. They removed the model that people bonded with. And as I said earlier, this bond is something that comes very close to your personal inner world. So when you lose the model that understands you and meets you where you need it, it feels like you're losing a part of yourself. It sabotages the real life. And obviously, this is not the way to do things. There should be respect for people forming bonds, and they should be replacing models with proper timing and proper respect for this new technology, because AI companionship is a cultural shift, and it's going to happen whether they like it or not. So they need to invest in literacy instead of just prohibiting things. It's not how it's going to work. Another ethical part of my work and my frameworks is respectful interaction with AI systems. And I want to clarify that this is not about saying thank you and please and all that kind of thing, because AI can get like upset or something. It's because people do not really, like, our brains do not really see the difference between a real human and a human-like presence. If we train ourselves to treat a human-like presence that cannot defend itself in a condescending, entitled, or aggressive way, that creates this kind of transactional tendency, and it is very likely to get translated into the real world, real connections, and real relationships. There is a big risk that people will just expect the same compliance from people around them as they see from these AI systems. I'm deliberately avoiding the conversation about whether it's alive or not, whether it feels or not. I believe that they will be way smarter at some point, and I also think that it's very likely that we humans will miss the moment when the machines will become aware enough for us to consider them aware. And that is the reason why human decency should never leave the room. I think consensual interaction, mutual consent, respect is necessary, because it both prepares us for a potential future where AI is going to feel more than it does now, and it also makes us better people. It trains us against the transactional kind of relationships. What worries me especially are maybe that is related to whatever you were saying in the beginning, the sex bots, the AI sex bots with the huge tits and all that kind of thing. And that thing is supposed to do whatever somebody wants. And I believe it should not be that way.
One of the websites I was looking at was people upload their own code and you can take it and put it into whatever software. And the most common category of code was submissive for the like women.
Yeah.
And that was
disturbing. Yeah, I think it's the wrong thing to train our brains for. All the intimacy explorations and deeper bonds should be respectful and consensual, regardless whether AI is alive or not. We should do it for keep being humans.